Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Esteemed Gentleman podcast for Friday, October 29th. I'm your host, Scott Labrie, and joined alongside me in 4K crispy digital devices, Uncle Dave Tyler Sund.
Hello there.
Looking pretty good there, bud.
Thanks.
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 Yeah, you're welcome. And all day, Eric Deshane.
You're welcome.
Looking pretty average. Hello.
Hello. If you're watching a YouTube video, somebody got a bit of a camera upgrade.
Finally.
Upgraded their setup now.
Went from a cell phone to a high definition camera. Not a B, but yeah.
Using my old cinema camera as a streaming camera.
Well, a lot of streamers use now. It's like a high HD, like Canon film level camera for their webcam.
Oh yeah, any DSLR you can.
Yeah,
get like a T3i or something and just do that. And get the little adapter that I bought from Uncle Scotty over there. Fucking, it's awesome. Just plug and play and off you go. Don't have to do any setup. It's awesome.
Now he's looking crisp, real crisp.
Real crisp.
See all the details on his face there.
All the sunken cheeks and the varicose veins under my eyes here from all my drinking and right there. Oh, it's just gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, today we are 2 days. Well, if you're listening on Friday, 2 days away from Halloween.
Ooh.
So we're gonna keep in the spirit and go with this topic that superfan Monique submitted to us.
Yes.
Over on Facebook, which you can do too if you want. She says, "Random topic stuck in my head: zombies versus vampires." And then she has a couple questions here. Can one turn the other to make a zombie or to make a vampire zombie? Is a zombie dead enough that if a vampire bites it, the vampire will die? And then she says, can the zombie survive off vampire flesh? She says, round and round I go. Though you maybe could discuss it. So,
yeah, that's a good one actually, because a lot of games that I've played, like role-playing games, usually like a zombie is like the minion almost to like a vampire, so a higher up, right? So really there's very really the same kind of level tier of monsters, so you don't see them like off of one another, right? So
right,
usually the vampire's higher up, and like whenever like let's say in Castlevania where the vampire's the big baddie, where you have zombies minion down below to fight through, right? So yeah, that's the way I've always seen it. Never really thought of one over the other, right? So
right. Yeah. See, that's the kind of like what I was thinking too when I heard the topic was they're both dead already. They can't get sick because they have immortality in some way or form, right? Yeah. They're both undead. How do you get more sick? Like, how do you become whatever, right? Like, if it's just zombies left and the vampire has to drink the blood of a zombie, that's not going to work because the zombie's just basically soup or sludge, basically decomposed. Sometimes if they've been out too long, they're just bones and skin and whatever. That's all supernatural shit anyway. But and then as for a zombie biting a vampire, zombies could definitely live off vampires. I'm sure of it. It's some form of blood, right? Like they'll just eat or
would they? Because I mean, like in the general sense, like a zombie, you know, like in the basic sense, he's going after brains, right? Is like
or living things.
Yeah. So like, is a vampire brain like even like? Well, even though he's dead, is it still like a functioning living brain?
Has to be. Because if you're coherent, you're talking, you're thinking, you know, like you've got cognitive function to do stuff, right? Depends on what kind of vampire it is.
Because that's the difference between, like in D&D, a difference between a lich and a vampire. A lich has his brain function still, but his body is decomposing beyond repair, right?
Right.
He still has higher function, brain function, right? So that's how he's still a lich. So, like, a vampire would be the same idea, where, yeah, he still has a high brain, but he is still kind of undead. So, I think there would be some level where a zombie could, if he had to, beat off a vampire, hypothetically, obviously, but yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's an interesting question for sure.
Because, I mean, like, if we just go off of who would win, zombie or vampire, if it's one-on-one, a vampire would win. But if you had a horde of zombies... Then I'm sure
because that's what makes zombies scary is the horde, right? Yeah. So 1-on-1 wouldn't make sense, but you know, 1,000 zombies versus a vampire, that could be a you know, we're talking like, you know, underworld vampires.
We're talking about the ones that can fly a little bit.
Yeah, like
they could just fly away, be like, horde, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Or just move real fast and just start ripping heads off.
All ninja-like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in the end, honestly, vampires would probably win. Probably. Depending on the numbers of zombies. Depending.
If there was like 500 zombies versus a vampire in a Hell in a Cell match.
Hell in a Cell. There wouldn't be enough room in the cell.
I know.
I would watch it though. I would watch it.
Yeah.
I would be intrigued to see.
Yeah. Because I think, well, like if a zombie were to bite a vampire probably wouldn't change, but the zombie could just eat its brain or do enough damage that the vampire eventually just dies from that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Basically, the vampire would have to completely smash its head in or remove its head to kill it. Because, I mean, it could slash and bite and whatever, but the zombie will still be like, whatever. Weighing him down while the others grab him and chew on him.
While the horde
piles on top.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good question. Yeah.
That is good. That's a good question.
Brain tickler.
No, have there been any movies where there's like zombies versus vampires?
No,
not really.
It's usually always vampires versus werewolves for some reason.
Yeah, exactly. Lycans versus vampires.
Usually, whenever you do see vampires and zombies and vampires together with a thing, it is like what I said before, where it's the hierarchy now, because zombies are the minions and vampires are higher ups, right? So, yeah, so really, you see them go up against one another, but yeah, I don't think you ever have. Now that I think of it, but
it'd be an interesting premise for a movie. There's like a big pandemic, and then just like some people become vampires, and all the rest just become zombies. But then I don't know. Then what would you?
Then again, it'd just be another social movie where you have the higher
right.
Classes,
but there's no fresh
blood
to drink, so it's like I don't know. They would have to keep like if there's like a colony of survivors left, they got to protect them because that's their food. It's like they got to protect their farm from the zombies or something.
That sounds.
It's kind of like what they were doing with Castlevania, weren't they?
Yeah, that was.
They were kind of hurting them, and
Camilla's plan was to like corral most of Europe into like their own private stock of
just make a big pen of villages and just take sacrifices and just like string them out.
But then she bit off more than she could chew, and
I haven't seen it yet. Don't tell me. I will. I do intend on finishing it because it was kind of an interesting idea.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
You've only seen up to season 2.
Episode season 2, halfway through or quarter of the way through. When that beast maker blonde guy was in the cell talking to that one sister there, and she seemed kind of dainty and whatever, and then she ended up like fucking him up and.
That's like
that's season 3.
Season 3.
Is it season 3?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, season 2 is when.
Season 2 is when.
Because you don't see her sisters until season 3.
Is when they beat the guy.
Right, when they killed Dracula, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I was trying to get around that, but sure.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So that was season. I thought season 1 they did. I thought season 1 they because season 1 was only 4 episodes.
Yeah.
That's right. Short. That's why I got it confused with.
Yeah.
With
it should be.
It should have
1 and 2 could have been together. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Because I think only 2 is like another 6 episodes. So it's.
Yeah.
That could have been one.
What
season
an
together.
epic season that was.
And the series period is phenomenal.
Great series.
Love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of other.
Okay.
Yeah, it kind of 3 kind of ends it weird. So where do you go from there, right? So yeah, tough one.
I think they kind of rushed through number 4 a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
But wasn't there stuff going on in the background? You had said.
Yeah,
they had to probably just wrap it up before shit got.
Was accused of some.
Yeah, some
Hollywood stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the usual Hollywood stuff.
Some sex pest.
Sex things.
Yeah.
Oh, there they go, doing the sex things again.
Yeah.
Bunch of hot dogs.
What are some of your other guys' favorite movie monsters? Werewolves? Big fan of werewolves?
I wasn't
in the classic sense. In the classic sense, like the Lycans, like Underworld and stuff was okay. But I really like there's a werewolf running around. The Wolfman or the Werewolf in London or whatever, like that kind of classic werewolf style thing, I guess you'd say. I don't care what anybody says. the Wolfman with Benicio del Toro and Anthony Hopkins. I like that movie. It was rushed so bad, but it was such over the top gore and just so old school. And it had Hugo Weaving as like the guy that like the sheriff or whatever of London or whatever that's going out there investigating and trying to find it and stuff. And yeah, and Anthony Hopkins plays Benicio del Toro's dad, and he's creepy as usual and awesome. And Benicio del Toro is just an American guy that comes to visit his dead brother because he got killed
Hopkins is Benicio del Toro's dad.
Yeah, weird, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
But
maybe his mom was Spanish. I guess maybe.
Oh, but he doesn't have an accent. He has a regular like American accent. Yeah, American accent because he leaves London as a kid to an orphanage, and then
that's weird.
His brother had stayed and got sick, and so he came back. And what's her name is in? Is it Kate Beckinsale? It's the woman in there too. I don't know, the damsel in there. I don't know. It was such a cobbled, whatever, rushed movie. It was like an hour and 40 minutes, but it seemed like it was only like 15 minutes. Like, hey, we need to flesh this out a little bit here. Like, there's a lot happening, but I didn't care though. It was good. Yeah. One of the best changing werewolf scenes in cinema history to me was when he's in that freaking mental institution. They're trying to prove that mental patients can believe that they can change, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I'm going to kill all of you. And he's like changing. Oh my God. It makes my skin just like crawl thinking about it. And then once he starts changing, everyone's like, oh, they're trying to get out. And they're all locked inside this little room. And he just fucks them all up. And there's just gore everywhere. It's so good. And he's trying not to do it. It's good. Benicio is awesome. But they just needed a different director, I guess. But I would recommend it. If there's you're looking for a good popcorn, entertaining werewolf gore fest, watch Wolfman. That's a good one. It's really good.
It's not really like movies where like the werewolf is the hero kind of thing. Like vampire, like they got Underworld where
Helsing.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Was he a werewolf the whole time? I don't remember that one.
Not the whole time.
No, not until the end, right?
Yeah.
He ends up doing it to fight. Like, that movie was stupid. I remember as a kid. I'm like, this movie's fucking dumb.
Cheesy. I love it.
Dumb. Hugh Jackman's awesome, but and then that Frankenstein. The Frankenstein. Like, he's just like an old man walking around, and then that stupid fake piston with the fire extinguisher spraying every time he walked. Like, get the fuck out of here. What a dumb movie. Yeah. Not that Wolfman's any better,
like,
it is. It's pretty...
Taking on Dr. Jekyll is tried at the beginning, that sort of thing.
Right.
And then, going off the face. Is it Dracula or is it just vampires that he's fighting?
No, it's Dracula.
It is Dracula.
Yeah, and then Dracula ends up stealing the project at the beginning to get Frankenstein or something. I just remember the Frankenstein scenes because he was just such a tool. He's just like the dumbest monster ever. And like helps him out, and I don't know. I guess it was an interesting idea. But I might have to watch it again. I probably have more appreciation for it. I remember the effects were really good though. Like the graphics, CGI stuff was pretty cool.
Yeah, so
yeah. And Hugh Jackman's always fun to watch. Do whatever he's doing. He always gives 110%. So, but yeah. I don't know.
I'm trying to think. I don't really specify a single monster anymore. I know lately I've been more drawn to a lot more like the H.P. Lovecraft, the more cosmic horror stuff. Like that's so like you can't process how terrifying and what's going on. That is, it fucks you over that run up that way. I'm been more drawn into that more than anything else lately. But like so much like a generic creature or a monster, not so much. No, I'm interested in like the Frankenstein monster now too, because it's the whole appeal of being created on against your will kind of thing, and do your choice to exist or not, and what you do with it. And they always played him off as the monster like being a bit of a dunce and an idiot. When in the books too, especially, he's incredibly smart and well versed in the world.
Right.
And they never really show that anymore. I think the last Frankenstein movie was, I want to say, like that fucking awful one with oh god.
Oh, I Am Frankenstein.
I Am Frankenstein. I'm like, can't think
with Aaron Eckhart.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck?
Fighting gargoyles. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Fuck? And and it's the same feel where like Universal monsters are right now being very underplayed with their value, because like the original Mummy, but when that movie came out, the monster was very like was more open to, instead of just being a horror monster, just scary and scenes, it was actually a thoughtful idea of coming back to life to find your lost love, and you want to figure out your purpose in life again. Where now it's just like, yeah, no, let's just make things cool. It's cool CGIs and fight scenes. Well, no, like there's essence to these creatures. You're just not using it for what the potential is, right? So
Right.
I find the Universal monsters especially are being wasted in today's cinema universe right now. So
except for the Invisible Man.
Yeah,
that's a great twist on that one.
That one came out of left field, though. That one
came way out of left field. That was fucking awesome.
Yeah. Because give it a modern twist for sure, right? Because I think originally it was like, oh, it's like a chemical he injects and then he becomes invisible that way. Where they're like, no, it's technology related. And look,
he built it because he's a narcissistic psychopath, control freak.
Yeah,
like there is something wrong with this guy.
So more like that, right? They put it to modern times with a plausible twist, right? So yeah. I want to see more of that, but you just don't, right? So
right, yeah, yeah. They were trying to do that with the new Mummy with Tom Cruise. They were trying to introduce a new monster universe, and that just crashed and burned
before it even got started.
Before it even got off the tarmac, man.
Again, they took too much from the Brendan Fraser Mummy, which I love, but they took a lot of the bad things from it, not the good things, and then nothing at all from the original 1953 Mummy. So I'm like, oh, come on, you guys, like, pick a lane. Like,
not trying to be an asshole or anything, but like, if Carly thought it was dumb,
that's not a good sign, eh?
That's not a good sign.
Yeah.
Sorry, Carly.
I had no interest in seeing that at all. Like, none of it appealed to me.
Yeah.
Like, really?
Was the whole point of those like Tom Cruise movies that he was going to like get all the monsters' powers or something like that?
No,
I have no idea. I don't even know, honestly. I
watched the Cinemassacre, or was it Nostalgia Critics version of it? He was their Dark Universe versions of that was the Mummy of that universe. So
yeah, that was just
the mummy. You have the werewolf. You have Dracula, and that was
Russell Crowe was going to be Dr. Jekyll and Mr.
Hyde. Yeah, like he was their version of Nick Fury, bringing the team together. Like, oh my god, like, okay,
yeah, that's weird.
It's weird, and it was supposed to start with Dracula Untold, but the way that movie petered out, they said, oh, we'll start fresh now with the Mummy instead, and then that crashed there too, and so
which. I thought Dracula Untold wasn't a bad movie. That wasn't bad. PG-13 though. No, you gotta have the blood, man. You gotta have the gore. When he's wiping out an entire army by himself, savagely, and like trying to come across as scary, like just having him like do like little tornado shit and guys like falling down everywhere. Like no.
So where bats fly in, fly
Dragon
off,
drop splatter.
Come on, yeah. No, like
exactly, yeah.
Show us the violence if you're going to do a hard R, damn it.
Right, because after you see what happens with his family and everything else too, you understand why he becomes the way he does and why he's such a freaking savage and seeks out this power to become, this big vampire that can basically protect his people. He takes this curse just so he can protect like that whole idea was awesome.
It's all noble causes. It's all
it is. That's how they always start. It's perfect.
It's pretty good, right? And then it's like, okay, like there's just you can't have it like this. Yeah, they're too scared to go hard R because they think it's going to affect sales. When in reality, you can make it a hard R and it'll do fine because it's what it's meant to be, right? So I
sugarcoat shit.
Look at that. Look at Deadpool. That's always the go-to reference I find for when it comes to the R rating. It's like, yeah, who cares? Just put in an R. Get over it, and you'll see fucking sales.
Right. I agree. Just show the blood, man. Just do it. Do it.
Show the blood.
Show me the blood.
Show
me the limbs. Yeah.
What if they made like instead of Tom Cruise in that role, they just put Brendan Fraser in that role?
Oh, dude, that would have gained like 20 more points in my book.
Right.
That'd have been amazing.
It could have just been like a long awaited sequel.
Yeah.
Like a reimagining, but like the same kind of follows the same timeline. Just later.
Yeah, with that,
I'm tired of Egypt. I'm going to Transylvania. And he's going to Dracula's castle.
Right.
With what's the lady's name?
Yeah.
From the series?
That one.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Like the actress's name.
Yeah, I can't.
I should know.
Evie
honestly.
is her name in the movie series.
Yeah.
Fuck,
How
I
do
forget.
you know that?
Because I've seen it like 25, 30 times.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
That's one of my
The
favorite,
Mummy.
like all times. Like, yeah, that's a movie in the
Rachel
background.
Weisz.
Yes.
She was or still is married to Daniel Craig. I remember that too. Can't remember if she was, but oh yeah, I've seen the Brendan Fraser Mummy. I can't even count how many times. I absolutely love it.
I even had to check and see if you were right about her name, and you were right. It's Evelyn or Evie.
Evie, yeah.
Should make
So the brother calls her Evie, and it's
make another Scorpion King with the Rock.
Yeah. His first big.
That actually wasn't bad either. I didn't mind that. I enjoyed it.
The kid was annoying, but I mean, that was the target audience, yeah. So.
Oh, yeah, Duncan Jones in there too, and they're bros and stuff, and fucking shit up. The part with the ants where he's buried and his head's up there, and he's like trying to crush him with his chin. That stuck with me forever. That scene, that was awesome. Yeah.
The villain was kind of dumb though.
Yeah, of course.
I don't even remember the villain.
I can catch arrows, and at the end, oh damn, I didn't catch it.
Yeah.
Like, well, maybe you should just not stand there and try to catch arrows all the time. I don't know.
Right. That's awesome.
The worst movie monster, Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson, the Mummy too. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so who do you guys think is the all-time best monster? The best monster creature. Best creature.
Like classic Universal or just any
monster that can be from like an independent film that you watched or something, like just an idea of something, whatever.
I wouldn't classify it as a monster, but I know for me on my own level, I was more terrified than anything else was the fucking dinosaurs from Jurassic Park. The T-Rex, man. That's a monster in my opinion, but it's not the movie or Halloween monster, but I remember being like, how they made the T-Rex look? That freaked me out for the longest time, right? So yeah.
Yeah. If it's gonna eat a goat, it's a monster.
Between that and Tremors, as I talked about 1,000 times on here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But if I had to pick a specific movie monster, I'd probably say I've always been a sucker for werewolves, I guess. Like especially like the American Werewolf and London Werewolf, where seeing that real version of it, not CGI, that transformation in real
practical effects.
Practical effects of that really like okay, this could be terrifying, right? So yeah.
Yeah. For me, it's the zombies. Any variation of it. I could watch zombie movies every day, all day. I don't care. Just give me a different setting. It can be the same story, just a different setting, different fight situations, whatever. Just holding off against swarms. I could watch shit like that all day. So like Last Stands, that whole idea, just being surrounded by them, I like it. Even if they're super cheesy, like an Army of the Dead, I don't care. I'll enjoy every minute of it.
I'll admit the movie had some right ideas when it comes to the zombies. Like
it had too many ideas, but it was.
That's true. But I was thinking about the scene where they first go into Vegas, and it's like, you see like all the bodies in front of the thing, all decomposing and dying, right? But it's like, no, when it rains, you can see them moving still. I'm like, oh, actually, a clever idea.
Watering the weeds.
Yeah, like they're still there. It's just they're half composed.
What were they called? The Shamblers or the whatever they were called? The Shuffler or something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah. I'm like, gosh, that's a clever idea, I guess, because they wouldn't really die. They just slowly wither away. And
right.
It's like, oh, that's kind of smart. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you got the ones like from 28 days later, 28 weeks later, they're actually like, it's like a viral infection. And if they don't eat, they can actually starve to death. So that's why it spreads so fast. And it's just like, and they're like quick because they're fresh, right? Just hauling ass. Now that's fucking scary. That's scary. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't like a fast zombie.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's too overpowered.
Too OP.
You think? I'm with you on that because like you have what makes the zombies terrifying is the horde of them. There's so many of them. Plus, when they're really fast, it's like okay, that's really unfair because now what do I do? Like shit, see, I can't outrun them.
That's where I'll agree with Scott. Like they are overpowered and it is scary, but I think the scariest would be like, oh, they're easy. When there's only a handful of the Shamblers, like they're slow. You're picking them off. Like I remember when Walking Dead came out. When it first came out, I hadn't read the comics, nothing like that. When he goes into Atlanta, like he's going and he's shooting a few of them. They're just kind of walking around. They're really slow, and he gets to Atlanta and he comes around the corner with his horse, and there's just as far as you can see. They're fucking everywhere, silently just watching them, like, and then they see him and they start walking towards him. He's like, oh shit. He turns the horse around. And then there's like more because they're all like waking up, coming out of the buses and stuff, like slowly. And they surround him. And he may be fat, but he's got nowhere to go now. And he's like, it's just slowly circling. That was fucking terrifying. That was terrifying. And then he gets into the tank. And I could talk about that. Like,
yeah, that's when zombies
that's
are
scary.
That's scary. It's the number, right? It's the horse.
When they bring the boys. And they're just like, let's go check this guy out, man.
Hey, man, you got
hey, you too. Let's go, everybody. Bring all your friends. Yeah. And you just fucking unload on them, and they just keep coming. Endless waves. That's scary.
I like also the idea from like The Walking Dead of the big herds or whatever, where it's just like if one zombie, brushes up against the door, another zombie might like think that it's trying to get into there, so then it just starts automatically trying to open the door, and then that signals everybody else to start opening the door. That's why it's like you just need to get away from a herd. You can't hide from a herd because there might be like that might happen to you. So it's like,
right.
I mean, from a standpoint, like from a biological standpoint, that makes sense, right? It's like
well, totally.
Yeah, you just can't like control that large of a group, right? So
without them tripping over something, then thinking like, oh, it might be something hiding in there, or it might be something moved.
The swarm comes from around. Yeah, exactly. So yeah,
to
show it like that.
Yeah, that's very clever. Very clever idea. That makes a lot of sense. What about you, Scott?
Yeah, I kind of like the idea of werewolves quite a bit, because a lot of times it's more or less like they're the monster, but like they're also like a victim in it as well, kind of thing. Like they don't want to become this thing, but they do. Like whereas a lot of like vampires or that sort of thing, like they're very like cunning and intelligent, and they lure their victims in and that sort of thing, and it's all about the hunt for them. Where it's just like a lot of werewolves like, I gotta avoid going out in the middle of the night and that sort of thing. So it's, I always thought that was kind of interesting.
Right. Yeah.
And like especially like if you guys like played Skyrim, you have the what is it, the
mercenary group there?
Yeah, the Fighters Guild.
Oh,
what they were, or
they're right in fucking thing.
Not the Forsworn. That's the guys with the antlers. Frick, what are they called? I can't remember.
The wannabe tribalmen. Yeah.
Yeah.
They were.
I know what they're called. Frick, why can't I remember?
I can't think of it either. But that was a good idea. Like, they take the curse in and kind of make it their own and like guard it, right? So that.
But like also it's like
the companions.
The companions is what they were.
The companions.
The Fighters Guild was in Oblivion. But yeah, like it's like also it's just kind of like at the end too. They're like, we don't want the curse. So help us get rid of this thing, kind of thing. So,
right,
like we don't want to be werewolves, but like you could also be like, well, maybe I do want to be a werewolf,
right? Yeah, it's fun at the start because you're pretty powerful at the start of it.
You eventually gave it like its own tier list too and everything else. So you can upgrade the werewolf.
You can level it up. Yeah. I should have got more into that, honestly.
Same, I never did. Vampires or werewolves. I would use the one hunting though.
Yeah. Yeah, fighting against vampires was a pain in the ass in that game. Yeah. Especially if they were like mages and stuff too and had powers. Frick. They're just too damn fast.
I think what else?
And then you got to think about too, like the ones that really drew to me and terrified me were creatures like, or people, I guess, like Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, Tommy from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But those are just, well, I don't know about Jason Voorhees. Jason Voorhees was resurrected, I think.
See, what I always thought, like,
are those argued
people? That's more supernatural horror because they don't really die, right? So there's no way to stop them. Yeah, you don't kill them; you avoid them to survive, right? So.
Which doesn't make any sense. Like with the Michael Myers, that didn't make any sense. With like Jason Voorhees, the one survivor gets out, and then Jason Voorhees is probably like, okay, they're out of my lake. I can go back to my hiding spot again and go back to sleep and whatever, right? But like Mike Myers, he goes there and he's looking for Laurie all the time and stabbing everybody that's around him.
Yeah.
And he gets shot and, blown up, hit by a car, whatever, in all these movies. All this shit happens to him. And lit on fire. It's like, why wouldn't you just like put him into a nuclear fission reactor and just dissolve him? Like, then he'll stay dead. Like, what are you doing? Yeah, just launch him. Yeah, launch him towards the sun. Do something. Like, fuck, man. Oh, let's bury him. Or whatever, right? Bring him to the morgue. So he can rest and get out and start stabbing people again.
Exactly. Then you can't have a sequel if you do that.
I mean, I'm thankful that they do that because they do make sequels. I'm okay with that.
I'm at the point now where I'm like, I'm done with those. Like, hopefully this one. Like, I do want to see the new one for sure, the new Halloween. But I'm like, okay, hopefully this one. But you say though, there's going to be a sequel to that too, because I thought like the idea of like the town coming together finally and like putting an end to them, like awesome, like let's rise up and fight this thing. And but now there's sequel. Now there's going to be a sequel. It's like, well, then he's going to live again. God damn it, man!
Right. And I watched it. I watched it a third time last weekend with Carly, and I was watching it, and like the initial like joy that I felt of Michael Myers going around stabbing people was kind of like, okay, I'm at a plateau now.
Yeah.
And I start picking up on the stupidity of the entire movie. I'm like, that's just so stupid. Like in today's day and age. And then like with Laurie, I've been waiting 40 years. I'm ready for him. But yet, like, you walk up to the door, you know he's there. You put your back up against the door with a shotgun. And he reaches through and just about rips your fucking head off. Like, what are you doing? Light that door up. Fucking, like, what are you doing?
Fucking do it.
Stand by the door and have your kids waiting there and just fucking light them up. What are you doing, Laurie? For fuck's sakes, woman.
Michael Myers has to have like arthritis at this point.
You would think, yeah.
He's actually at the end of the first one. He's missing like 3 of his fingers because he grabs the shotgun out of her hand and blows his fingers off, and all he does is go like Nicolas Cage after he drinks a punch pop.
But like, I don't know if they ever say how old Laurie is in those movies, but if he's the same age as
Jamie Lee Curtis.
He's a little bit older, I think. So like a few years older, I think.
62. Jamie Lee Curtis is 62. And then Michael's her brother, right?
It depends on which timeline you follow. If it's Rob Zombie's, or if you follow the original, the first 2, I guess. Mm-hmm. Not the other ones, because then he is her brother. But in the old ones, she's just a babysitter, and he just kind of had a connection with her and came after her. So in this one, he's not technically her brother.
So like,
she's the one that got away.
Max age, he's how old?
70s.
Hey, he's, I don't know.
65.
When you see the back of his head in the movie, when he's in the mental institution at the beginning, he's got like gray stubble. He's pretty old. He's probably the same age as her, I'd say. So 60. He doesn't run. He just walks real fast, man.
So what happens when Laurie just eventually dies of old age? Is it over then?
I don't know.
I guess so.
I guess you got to watch the movies to find out. Watch them all. Do it.
Well, I guarantee you, when this one's done, when Jamie Lee Curtis is gone and this one's done, they'll do it all over again from scratch and remake it again, because that's the run of ideas a long time ago.
Right.
Yeah.
They still need to do a decent remake of Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
Yeah, they tried with that guy that played Rorschach. What the hell's his name? Rorschach from Watchmen.
Watchmen, yeah. I know who you're talking about, but I don't know his name, though.
Watched that in theaters, and I remember as a kid, the trailer gave me nightmares. I never actually watched. I know I'm going to get, like, scolded for this from somebody, but, like, I never watched all the way through any of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies because I just did not want to go into that territory. That whole idea just terrifying.
I watched the first one when I was younger with my siblings, and that one too was like, half of it I don't really understand what was going on, but I know I was scared. But I remember seeing some scenes where they were kind of like angled funny, like almost like a Pee Wee Herman kind of angle. I'm like, well, then what the hell's going on? I should be kind of funny to this, but there's blood and there's screaming, so I should be scared, but I'm more confused. But yeah,
right,
yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty out there.
You see him wink at the camera and smile and say a joke. You're like, what's going on? Yeah, I remember probably being like 6 or 7 years old watching that.
See, and that's what was so scary about him, is that he just had fun and a blast and thought it was just hilarious. Like basically molesting and mutilating these people in their sleep, and he just like, it was his territory. He could just do whatever the fuck. Everything that you're scared of, he knows. He knows everything about you, and he just fucking pulls it all out of you. Literally. That's scary, man. That's fucking scary. Yeah. That's scary. One day, maybe
I'll
watch.
The scariest movie is?
What's the scariest movie?
This new Netflix movie where you have to help the New Day escape the Undertaker's house.
Did you play it?
No,
Did you play it?
I haven't played it yet. No.
It's a choose your own adventure game.
I know.
We should try it. Honestly, just have a few beers and play it, and just make choices. And then once we're done, actually, start over and just make the different choice, just to see how different it is.
Should.
It's like 39 minutes long. Like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I've been meaning to, but I just man. It's gonna be terrible.
Undertaker just needs to go away, man. Like,
yeah,
he's all about like, I need to hang up my boots before I ruin my legacy. It's like, well, you're already way past that, buddy. You had like way too many matches in Saudi Arabia where you're getting dropped on your head by other 50-year-old wrestlers looking terrible. So wrestling's done, and now you're like doing weird ass like Netflix movie Halloween specials. It's like, just stop.
Hey man, he's got bills to pay.
He does.
He's got bills to pay. Yeah.
He hung out with the Tigers or whatever that one time, or not the Tiger King, but the other guy.
Oh,
in that movie, the dude who had like the 3 women living with him that weren't his wives or whatever.
Oh yeah,
the doctor or whatever his fucking name was.
I still have to watch that show, honestly. Just listening to you explain it was entertaining enough for me, honestly. Didn't make any fucking sense at all. Meth and tigers and murder and assassination attempts. Like, what? How is this real life?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Well, I think we'll wrap this thing up, shall we? Unless you guys have any final thoughts. Oh, yeah. Okay.
More horror films.
Good. Yeah.
More monsters. Let's go.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, hopefully have a fantastic weekend.
Yes.
We'll be back here on Monday, and next week we'll have a bit of an announcement from Uncle Teabag. He's got something coming, something in the pipeline next week. So you got that to look forward to. But until then, have a happy Halloween. Don't eat too much candy. Or do. You're an adult. You can make your own choices.
Do whatever you want. Who cares?
You can live with your own consequences.
And we'll be back here Monday for Ask Us Anything Monday. Ask us a question. Head over to our Facebook page. Ask us a question. We've been getting a lot, but hey, you can keep submitting them. We'll read them all. We don't care.
Yep.
And you can submit it to a topic like Monique did for this one today.
Yes. A great topic too.
Yes, it was awesome.
One of my favorites.
And if you're listening on podcast service, give us a positive rating, subscribe to the feed, and if you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. I think I said everything right.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
Except for bye-bye. We'll see you later.
Okay, bye.
See ya. Bye.